Again, I'm Joel. For those of you who don't know me, born and raised in Beaver, class of 92. And then in 03, headed to Seattle. And it is, like you've heard, had an 18-year experiment there that did not work out. So I'm back, back to my roots. In about 2006, well, prior to that, I was a card-carrying Democrat, a recovering Democrat. In 06, thereabout, I started wising up, Ron Paul movement, and the Fed, fractional reserve, documentaries like Loose Change, second edition, things like that started me going down the rabbit hole. And it's been an interesting journey since. And why I, kind of, this is my wheelhouse. In about 2006 in Seattle, we had a real bad windstorm that knocked out power for 7 whole days. In the middle of winter, like right in December. So very cold. In an apartment that was all electrical, so no heat, no water, like ice cold water. Apartment was about 40 degrees for 7 whole days. So I know we get power outages around here. Normally it's up in about a day or a few hours. So there were some places in Seattle that were in the Stone Ages for a long time. So luckily I did have some support system, and I couch surfed. I had my full-time job to go to, so I had warmth and light most of the time. But couch surfing the rest of the time, and it really made you think. I didn't have anything. And so I just had, luckily, a little Sony AM/FM radio. And it was so bad that there was the one local AM radio station, KOMO, had a whole week of call-ins. Like, they didn't do any other programming. It was like people calling in all day, every day. We're still out of power here. We're still out of power there. Where it was all tips and things they were sharing, and it was the only way I could really find out what was going on. I would try to go to my apartment every night to see, well, nope, okay, no power, and out I went. So the lifeline was that radio at the time. So, and it still can be a good one. So that's what got me invested in, okay, I don't want that to happen again. And like Rich had said, it's not just necessarily extreme, prepping people or whatever. This can be, and this is kind of how I framed the tonight's presentation, was just for every regular everyday people. Like, hey, we have power outages, we have thunderstorms, etc. So it would be kind of good to have some things in mind. And so with that, little intros to come there. So again, tonight's agenda, again, thank you, Rich, for the intro, and myself, the intro. I'll be going over the presentation, of course. I'll have all kinds of good stuff after. So I'll have links, I'll have QR codes, and ways to copy it on a thumb drive if you have that. So no need to be writing down the whole time. It's okay. I'll have a lot of bullet points, and I'll be doing mostly a lot of talking. Plenty of time definitely for Q&A. Rich and I will have a table here of some things and some time for questions. So I'll have that at the end. Hopefully I'll cover a lot of the questions that are being asked. So, and again, do a little recap at the end of the presentation. Again, I'll have some QR codes and links and summary, and then our show and tell table and Q&A. So, yep, famous quote. Had to find out, dig deep where that was from, but ironically from Lenin. Every society is 3 meals away from chaos. And these are some stats. I'm not going to go over everything, but just showing in general that most people are not as prepared as they'd like to be. 52% who experience a natural disaster weren't as prepared as they could have been. Of course, we have the tornadoes just happening, prime example of the need to have some stuff on hand. So, and again, why worry? Hopefully those of you who are old enough here know Mad Maxine, Alfred E. Newman. Why worry? Why should I care? So, obviously here in this area, we get a lot of this. So this is obviously a big one. I put it first. Of course, we get all kinds of fun stuff. Tornadoes, thunderstorms, lightning, power outages, etc. In my neck of the woods, or where I was at, it was pretty much either earthquakes or a volcano blowing up. So I had about that to worry about. Not too much of the other stuff, with not too much inclement weather there. And of course here, we also have shipping port, big one. And the cracker plant could be a possibility. So what was it, orange smell? People smelled from it earlier and it's not even online yet, so there's that. And of course, in Seattle, not only do you have to worry about the wind and all the power outages, but I think as all of us saw from 2016 on now, and it's not very far away, things are getting crazy. So I lived 3 hours north of Portland, where it was 150 something days of riots every day, all the time. In Seattle wasn't as bad, but there was days of different ones. So of course, yes, you got your reasons for civil unrest, the riots, the looting, etc., etc. So I kind of took it as priority. What would be the most important stuff? So obviously you got to drink. So water first. When the well's dry, we know the worth of water. Again, with any of this stuff, it could be as little as you want to do or as much. Obviously, budget and space are the main limitations. How much space you got, how much budget. And most of the stuff I'll cover here is going to be like under 50 bucks, maybe even under 100 bucks with a lot of the stuff. Obviously, the sky's the limit with how far you can go. And I myself and Rich, I'm no authority. These are just some tips and suggestions, not necessarily the end-all be-all of information. But some good tips for water filtration. Gravity fed are nice ones. They're slow but easy. You just pour a bunch of water in and it drip, 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 filters it out. You use rainwater, tap water, dirty water, what have you. There are a lot of good filters that remove fluoride. It's of course a good one too. Not only all the nasty stuff in them, but also fluoride is nice to remove as well. If you want to know why, come see me or Kelly or any of us can talk to you too about fluoride in the water. Some good ways to store it. Waterbrick is a good brand. Again, I'll have all these links and things later for everybody. They are a nice stackable, storable thing. They come in a couple of sizes. They're almost like Legos for water. And it keeps it clean, it keeps it pure, it doesn't leach, odor or taste or anything like that. Good for long term. Life Straw is a great one. This is, of course, super easy and portable, put in your pocket. It is one of many brands out there. The premise being that you can stick it in dirty water and suck it up through a straw. So it filters it all out. Again, great for on the go, camping, or for if you don't have a lot of space to store it all. This is also $10, $15, so not too bad. Some other good brands, Pro One and Alexa Pure. There's many others, but these in particular, I've tried these out. They do have filters that do everything plus fluoride, gravity fed. They also have pitchers to pour water in, as well as big stand on the counter ones. There's even artesian wells. I didn't really know about this until living in Seattle. There's actually natural spring wells of fresh, pure water. And there's a neat website that lets you actually find them. And it's a database. There's actually one in Pittsburgh. I'm trying to remember the name of it. And there's one in like Raccoon State Park. So free, unlimited, fresh, clean water to have on hand. And Seattle was like north and down in Olympia. There was those all over the place. There is even what's called a water bob, water B-O-B. You literally, it's just a giant bag. You can fill water from your tub, and your tub acts as a giant water storage device. So very handy. Again, you just run the faucet, fill it up, and then you can pump it out and pour it into whatever. So obviously no one's taking a bath, but what's more important, drinking or being clean? So there's that. So obviously food, gotta eat after drinking. And again, this can be very easy as well, from something like a $10, $15 straw to just non-perishable items, cans. You know, your canned fruits, your canned, chili, whatever, what have you. Dry goods, canned goods, beans, rice, preserves. Kind of a lost art, canning, preserving. Any of the folks into that? Great way too, to get into and do that. Again, obviously they have stuff with long shelf life. And again, they don't have to take up too much space. A few shelves in the cupboard. And then of course you get into stuff like MREs, ready-to-eat meals, stuff you can just add water, etc. A couple of the big names in that arena, My Patriot Supply and For Patriots, both good brands, get big containers. Most of the stuff from these guys, 25 years shelf life. And again, a nice stackable, storable container. Again, just for what if power goes out a long period of time, or you can't get out, snow, etc. Seattle will shut down if there's an inch of snow. So I know that all too well too. So any of these, again, kind of examples, great to just have on hand. Again, it may seem, elementary, but still good little tips to have. And of course, fire. Got to keep warm. Now, obviously not saying start a fire in your house, but there are things too you can use to kind of keep warm as well in the house or on the go. And you'd be amazed. Again, a lot of things that are very affordable and inexpensive. A lot of ways you don't have to sit there and do two twigs rubbing together. There's a lot of good things. I know Rich has some on the table. You got things like your ferro rod, your magnesium sticks. Ferro rod's just like this little piece here, and you scrape it with the blade, and it makes sparks. So a real good way to just easy, again, super tiny, fits in the pocket, a few bucks at a camping store. And again, magnesium, fire starter, all easy to do. You don't need to worry about if they get wet. Waterproof matches, of course. Plasma lighters are neat. They're actually something new I've been seeing and I've tried out. They just charge up a little, USB cord, and I actually have one I brought. They're kind of neat. It just forms a little arc, and you can start a fire that way. So rechargeable, no fuel needed, no butane or anything like that you got to worry about. Too super tiny, doesn't cause a flame, just a little arc of electricity. So another easy way to start to something. And of course you got stuff like fire rope, flint starters, and so these are all camping good stuff you can easily get a hold of, not too expensive. Canned heat's something, at least it's, again, not too bad in the house. And another easy way too, if you do have in time of emergency, a gas stove, not running it all the time, but you could run it occasionally to keep things warm. You don't want to leave it run too long for CO2 buildup, but it wouldn't be like a generator running in the house. So obviously, no on that one for sure, but generators, of course, which I'll get into here, another effective way to keep things warm and keep things running, which we'll get into. But little known fact there, gas stoves you could use. And obviously you could use one of these to start up the pilot. Obviously, you gotta have electricity to do the pilot to start it, but you could use one of those to get it going. And of course, power, battery, fuel cell, what have you. Very important and crucial. Again, these are easy, everyday things you can have. Lifelines for sure, keeping your cell phone charged, keeping some of the essentials charged up. Anybody with medical needs, maybe that needs to have something that's battery operated, powered up. And again, they come in all kinds of varieties. Of course, solar, you can go all out. There are foldable kinds that open up. There are kinds you can plug into generators and power stations and battery packs. And again, small, big, huge, however your needs are. There are a lot of options for solar, of course, battery packs, and just heck, this right now is fueling my laptop. So even something like that, very easy. Many brands out there, just some ones of note: Anchor, RAV Power, Mophie, Aki. These are all easy, affordable brands. Again, anywhere from 20 on up price range for those, for something at least handheld or something to put in your pocket. Power stations are great. Again, another very cool way now of doing stuff. They're almost like lunch boxes. They have a handle. Goal Zero is a very big brand that does a lot of this kind of stuff, both solar and batteries and generators. Jackery is another notable brand there. And again, they look like this. They're not too much bigger than a little cooler. And again, they'll power many things. You have the plugs for plug-in AC plus USB, and then even the car cigarette charger there too, so you can plug all kinds of things in there. Again, very handy and can last a good while and can attach a solar panel to it. So even if you needed more time without electricity, you'd have this. And then of course you get into your generators. Obviously, gasoline is going to be great, to keep it outside of course. And you've got the kind too that you could plug into solar panel even to use as an auxiliary to those if the fuel runs out. Honda, of course, is a big brand in that arena for the larger kind or the kind for outside. And with some of these, again, the sky's the limit. You can get ones that'll do big appliances. You could do almost your whole house for an extended period of time. Obviously, you got to give it some time with a solar panel to fuel back up again. And of course, protection. And it's not just simply a gun, but something to keep yourself protected, be it yourself or the resources you have. And there's even just some things as simple as self-defense classes, police stations, firehouses, they all do them for free. There's a lot of classes for women to check out as well as men. Again, there are some links here for a lot of that. There's tons and tons of free resources for watching videos and courses for self-defense. Of course, yes, the gun is always very effective, but there's many other things you can use too to your advantage. And there are, again, survival knives, and even a baseball bat by the bedside. Sounds a little weird, I know, but you never know. Because what you have, someone else may not. So, And there are some other options. You can go two non-lethal ways, batons, tasers, etc. Self-defense classes are always a good option though to check out. And of course, light. You gotta be able to see. So options, we got all kinds now. Again, LED lights, very low energy, not a lot of light. Candles used to always be a very no-brainer. Tea lights, candlesticks, but honestly now with the advent and popularity and affordability of LED lights, I'd almost not go that route too much anymore. They go for a long time, don't use up a lot of juice, easy to charge back up. And again, with things like lanterns and flashlights, rechargeable, don't need to pop out batteries necessarily. You just charge them right back up. And even little headlight lamps, again, we'll have some examples here on the table of that. Very handy, you just strap right on, boom. And glow sticks, that's another good one too. Obviously no power needed, nothing to charge up, just break it and you at least have a way to have some light. Light for both reading, getting around the house, or for rescue. All very useful. And communication. This was, again, that little Sony AM FM radio, huge help to the outside world. So whether we're talking about just what's happening in the world around us or in the area, you can also, of course, do two-way and talk to other people as well. Now, ham radio is a big one. Obviously, there's lessons and courses and licensing and fun stuff like that. I am not a ham radio operator. I know a buddy of mine who's been trying to convert me big time. Very useful. Again, little two-way radios. Bofang, B-Tech, little walkie-talkies, even something like that. Not very expensive. Police scanners, not just your, the old police scanners of old, but even now with our cell phones. Free apps, police scanner. You go to your Google Play Store or App Store, police scanner, boom. Free app on your phone, what's happening. And you can listen to it. There's, at least in this area, there's the Beaver County fire and EMS, and I believe a couple other stations. There's only about 3 or so in the area to listen to for Beaver County. Obviously in Pittsburgh and other places further out you get more, but even just a free way of doing it right on your phone. Otherwise, of course, you got the biggies like Uniden, Bearcat, Whistler, to name a few. And then a big one too that's a good one are the little hand crank radios. Shortwave, AM, FM, weather band, a lot of them will have at least those 3 or 4 on there. And again, you can crank it with some of the better ones. It will even have a little solar panel. It's got a multitude, 3-4 ways to keep it going. And typically they'll also have a way to charge up your cell phone if need be as well. Again, brands like Midland, Running Snail, Eton, just to name a few. There are many others. Medicine, obviously a big one. Again, not getting into all the different medical ailments some people may have, but there are a lot of good basics ones to have around. First aid kits are easy to get. You can get little ones, fit in a pocket. You can get obviously the bigger kind, multiples, never a bad thing to have all around. Again, not going over every bullet, but stuff for your basics, antibiotics and pain relief, stuff for the stomach. A big one when Fukushima went, I was in Seattle when that happened, and it was hitting the West Coast. Potassium iodine, of course here with Shippingport. But I did not take, but I did have it on hand just in case. So something to help with the thyroid, with radiation. Not a bad thing to have on hand. Aspirin, one great thing I love about that, no basically no expiration date. So as long as you're not allergic to it, great thing to have. To get a big old thing at Costco, and it'll pretty much last forever. And again, you got all kinds of other things for cleaning wounds and flushing things out. Again, always good to keep the immune system up. Obviously, it can be a time of stress if things go south or no electricity. And of course, when you have all this stuff, now you've gone through all this checklist of things, okay, well, what do you do with it? You could store it at home, of course. And that's always, this is mainly the focus of tonight's presentation. But you can also have kits, backpacks, stuff for the car, stuff for work, stuff for on the go or on the move. Bug out bags. You go through many names. I think Bryn, what'd she say? A to-go bag. Yeah. She said to-go bag. I kept thinking eating out. When I kept hearing that, I'm like, restaurant, food. I always heard bug out bag. There's many names. Some ones I never even heard of. Some interesting acronyms: PERC, GOOD, INCH, QRB. Basically, in a nutshell, a way to take a lot of this stuff, have it in somewhere easy to find or get to. And again, some tips of where you may want to put it. You know, your trunk, at work, at the office, your vacation home, your second home, what have you. Never bad. And again, a little summary breakdown of kind of everything went over. I didn't get into shelter. Again, obviously, this could go for hours talking about everything or every scenario. Shelter, I figured I'd keep some of them for a taste if we wanted to do a part 2 or something like that. But again, most of the basics here. Again, your water, find a way to have it be filtered and clean and drinkable. Rainwater barrels, another great way too, especially if you're a homeowner. Another good thing there. Again, with food, dry, non-perishable, canned stuff. Look again into those things like MREs and like Patriot Supply. Good containers, they make them in like 3-day, all the way up to like 6 months, a year. You know, you can get all kinds of varieties with their storable containers. Of course, clothing, layers, stuff for, you know, cold or wet environments, never a bad thing. Mylar blankets, always a good thing too. Keep warm, easy to store and have around. Fire, again, easy options to start it. Don't need to learn how to invent fire. First aids are always good. Tools, that's another good one too. Just little things like a Swiss Army knife, what is that one's called? The Leatherman. That was the one I was thinking of. I was thinking Weatherman, but no, Leatherman. Those are always good to have around too. Just a little something to cut or fix something or tighten something. Again, protection's not a good 3-letter word. It doesn't have to be just a gun. It could be any number of normal household items. But if you, I'm sure all of us have a friend or family member who is a hunter or a gun owner, and they would be very happy to teach you or tell you about it or help. You just have to ask. It's like asking anybody who's very passionate about something, tell me why you like it, and they will have no problem telling you or teaching you, and be happy to. Again, communication is key, even at the very least, just fueling up and having that cell phone powered up and ready, easy to keep it from dying. And again, radios are a great way to keep in touch or to find out what's going on, and to light up your environment, having those rechargeable LEDs or those lanterns that was mentioned. Where to buy them? Of course, it goes without saying, Amazon, Walmart, etc. I get it if it's not, if that's a 4-letter word. you've got these other options here. Of course, Army Navy surplus, one that was I had not thought about in a while. But any camping supply stores. Again, we've got a lot around here. There was that new public lands that just opened up in Cranberry. All of these places would easily have all these things listed for one degree or extent. And again, most things are going to be under 50, depending on how high or big you want to go. Of course, now's a good time. A lot of Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals still going on. I'm still seeing stuff coming in on my deal sites. So a lot of still deals to be had or discounts on these things. So tis the season. These are just some of the ones I found in the area that are Army Navy surplus places. These are always good too to check out some of those things. And here I have a QR code. Anybody with a smartphone, if you hold it up to that, it will take you to all the links I had in the previous slides. They are all interactive. I will also have this as a picture to look at or share, this QR code, as well as I have everything digitally here to copy, both Mac and PC. If you have a thumb drive, and I have the link, I'll also have as well. So there'll be plenty of chances for getting all this. A great quote my friend Rich had here last week when we had talked was, be a fountain, don't be a drain.
That's way out of context.
It was your wife, but yes. In general, it's a good thing. Empowerment is always a good thing. Being empowered to be able to protect yourself or to have something in case you don't need it. I was fortunate I had friends out there, but what if I didn't? And so you never know. And again, everybody has a right to be able to protect yourself, to be self-reliant and self-independent. And so these are just things to help along with that. And the more that you are and your neighbors are, the easier things are. And it's not a bunch of, pounding on the door, give us your food.